All right. Prop 14, borrowing for stem cell research. Who put it there? Some more signatures, an effort mostly funded by Robert Klein, JDRF International, and Open Philanthropy. It's a bond. That's the type of prop. What would it do? It would borrow $5.5 billion to fund stem cell research. And this goes back to a Proposition 71 in 2004, where voters passed to create the California Institute of Regenerative Medicine. The institute exists to channel state money toward stem cell research. Prop 71 also let the state borrow $3 billion to do that. That pot of cash is now empty, and Robert Klein, a Silicon Valley real estate developer who led Prop 71 effort and became the first chair for the Institute, is leading the campaign.
This feels like a homework one where I want to know more about how much the California Institute for Regenerative Medicine has accomplished, right? Like that seems like that would be useful to know before you vote on whether they get more funding.
I agree with that.
Another thing to consider is this was put forward, or signatures were gathered before COVID. So the state and pretty much every level of government is facing giant deficits. So this is putting more on the deficit, talking about borrowing another $5.5 billion. And so stem cell research, it was a big cultural issue in the Bush era, because it took cells from I believe the fetus, or I think embryos. Use embryonic cells, and of course a lot of cultural conservatives were against that, but it's a really effective way of studying, of doing biological studies, and producing treatments, medicines, other genetic information. So it's worthy of doing, but at this time it should probably rely on private funding. Is just because this state just has a lot on its plate.
Right.
Right.
That makes sense.
And there's a lot of rich people with a lot of money in this state. And I just don't think putting another $5.5 billion for a worthwhile effort, but at this time it's probably this particular initiative probably isn't the right time. And of course they couldn't have foreseen what the current situation.
Yeah.
So it's probably not a good time for it.
Fair enough.